So you're about to hit submit on your early decision or early action college application. Hold on just a second. Before you click that magical button and watch the confetti fly, I have a checklist for you and it's essential. Hey there parents, families, and students. My name is Andrew Hoffman. Welcome back to my channel. I'm a former director of admissions at a highly selective college, and now I work with students and families from across the country to make the college admissions process a little less confusing. Whether you're an apprehensive student thinking about submitting your college application, or you're a parent and not wanting things to fall through the cracks, you're in the right place. Let's go through all the things that you want to do before hitting that submit button. Trust me, this is what I would have told my own applicants when I was sitting in the admissions chair. Let's dive in. First, let's get the obvious out of the way. Have you talked this over with your parents, guardians, and school counselor? I know it sounds basic, but I've seen early applications get delayed or even pulled because the family just wasn't on the same page, especially for early decision. If you're applying ED, everyone, including your parent and school counselor, need to sign off on the binding ED agreements. But even for early action, don't go it alone. Loop in your support team. If you're a senior in high school, I assume that you've made substantial progress by the time you watch this video on your common application. If not, pause this video and come back to it. I did an entire common application walkthrough in a 4-part video series. There, I break down the common application in step-by-step instructions. But assuming you're almost done, here's a tip. Start from the top and go line by line through the entire common application. Look for spelling, grammar, all the little things, maybe formatting that might be off. The common application doesn't always catch them. I've even seen students misspell their own names. The next thing you need to know about before submitting your application is this concept of demonstrated interest. If your early decision or early action school tracks demonstrated interest, or how much you've engaged with the college, you should be opening their emails, clicking on their links, participating in virtual programs. These actions can sometimes tip the scale in your favor if you're a borderline, maybe admit to waitlist or admit to defer an early decision. And honestly, it's never too late to start doing these things. So if you haven't thought about this until right now, go to your inbox, go to those college emails, start opening, clicking, and spending time on their website. Does it feel a little silly and performative? Yes. But admission officers do notice, especially for those colleges that are keeping tabs on this. All right, next is the deadline. Quick reality check. Do you know the actual deadline for your EA or ED? Because here's what happens. You have 5 applications that you're thinking of, you sort of settled on your early action or early decision application, and now you're thinking that that application deadline is November 15th, when in reality it's November 1st. So please, go check again. Even if you absolutely think that you know what it is, go check the deadline. And while you're at it, check the financial aid deadline. Oftentimes they're the same day, but sometimes they're different. Speaking of deadlines, let's talk about that specific deadline and the day that it's due. Here's an insider tip that I wish more students knew. Try not to submit the application on the actual deadline. Yes, you technically can submit it on the deadline, but you also have access to your applicant portal, usually a couple days after you submit your application. And sometimes those portals reveal surprise requirements, like additional essays you need to do or additional questions you need to answer. I'm sure colleges realize this because when I was an admissions director, about half of all of our students submitted either on the day of the deadline or the day before. So there's probably some buffer time built in, but you don't want to panic or stress yourself out. And now on to some external factors like financial aid and letters of recommendation. So most United States colleges will require the FAFSA, especially if you're applying for need-based aid. A lot of private institutions will also require the CSS Profile. But there's a lot of extras that colleges require. Tax returns, income documentation, some form of ID, and oftentimes you have to upload this to your applicant portal. Also, just make sure that your counselor and teacher recommendations are good to go. It's good practice to check in with them, remind them of the deadline, and just make sure that they have their applicant links. Depending on your school, they may engage in a different process because you have SCORE or Naviance, so just confirm the process with your counselor. Okay, now let's talk briefly about the why us versus non-why us essays. I did an entire video last week all about college supplements, so you definitely should check that out before proceeding. You want to ask yourself though, especially for these early applications, have you made a strong and compelling case of why you might want to attend that college? Clearly, if there's a why us essay, that's where you do it. But even if you don't have that explicit opportunity, it might be good practice to write up a very short email about how this college aligns with your goals and interest and why you might want to attend that college. Send that email to your regional admissions officer and ask that it be included in your applicant file. Most colleges use Slate Reader at this point, and they can see some of this correspondence. As long as it's short and to the point and not over the top, it could be a plus factor in this process. Even though we didn't take this type of demonstrated interest into account at Swarthmore or Vanderbilt, I did notice these things as an admissions officer. I think it shows intentionality, and that matters in holistic review. Okay, so now the final check. Before submitting anything, download the PDF preview of your entire comment application. That's your final version, and the version most likely that colleges will see. Now, just a note, there are some sections that colleges choose to suppress. So standardized testing might be an example of that. If you're applying test optional, they're probably not going to be downloading the testing page, so you might not see that. Read it from top to bottom, and if something is missing or misspelled or kind of formatted in a wonky way, go back and correct that. In particular, with the extracurricular list of activities or honors and awards, sometimes your words can be cut off if they're too long, and I've seen that quite a bit. Now, if you're comfortable with others reading your personal essay and supplemental questions, you can ask a trusted adult to read through it as well. Or if you want a non-biased professional expert to read it, I also offer an application review service where I provide you advice and edits. I will go through your entire application from top to bottom and provide feedback and insights. I think it's a rare opportunity for you to have someone who actually made admissions decisions in a highly selective college environment provide edits on your application. Now, you've done all of it, you're ready, you hit submit, the confetti flies, but you're not quite done. Be laser focused on your email in the next maybe 5, 10, 15 days. Many colleges will email you instructions on setting up your portal, advice on how to submit additional materials such as maybe a resume, and possibly offering additional activities like a college interview. Also weird but true in 2025, if you receive a call from an unknown number, pick up. In rare cases, colleges call students to clarify something important, and you don't want to ghost them. I've seen Reddit posts that say, oh my gosh, Princeton called me 3 weeks ago and I just found the voicemail. Yikes. Now let's be real. You're applying to a college that you love. Maybe it's your top choice, and it's okay to be excited. But that doesn't mean you want to stop working on your other applications. I hear it all the time. I'm just gonna wait until I get the decision for my early decision or early action application, so I'm not wasting my time. And then it's mid-December, and you get deferred or denied from your early choice, and now you're scrambling to finish all the applications, adhere to deadlines, and finish the essays. Obviously, I hope that that's not the case. But if you continue working now, the future you will thank the present you for staying on top of it. Okay, you made it through the checklist. That was no small feat. So before you jump into your next application or obsessively refresh your email, or try to figure out if that portal changed 10 seconds ago and now you don't know what it said, take a moment for yourself. Go for a walk or run, watch a movie, eat some ice cream. This is your time and you should celebrate yourself, because applying early to college is a big deal and you did it. Thanks so much for watching. I hope this helps you submit your early application. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you get notified every time I release a new video. And if you have any questions about this checklist or anything related to early or even regular decision, drop those in the comments below. Good luck, and I'll see you in the next video.